You look like the 80s threw up on you.
Thank you! Dance, am I right? Since the beginning of time, dance has been a way to tell stories and communicate emotion. And it's changed and evolved to be one of the most prevalent forms of performing arts. And, as it has off-screen, dance has been on the silver screen since the beginning of cinema.
From ballet, tap and ballroom to disco, tango, breakdancing and everything in between, almost every kind of dancing has been put on film. But what is a dance movie? It's best to set up some ground rules. A dance movie in terms of this presentation is a film where dance is a central theme or setting in the film. It isn't a film with a famous dance scene or a musical where people dance, but the movie isn't about dance. I'd be here all day if I covered those, but before I move on, I'll list some of my personal favourites.
Shuffle to the left. I kick the boy behind to make a little room. Boogie to the right. Pop, sit, squish. Visceral lip shits. Pop, sit, squish. Visceral lip shits.
You don't have to put on that red light.
Oh, I used to worry about the future, but then I threw my caution to the wind.
I'm also not covering Bollywood because, Jesus, that's a lot of movie.
You think this would be too specific to cover? Quite the contrary. There are way more dance movies than you think. Some are iconic, even award-winning. But why is this? I'll tell you why, hypothetical other person. Versatility.
Dance movies cover so many genres. Romance, comedy, drama, psychological thriller, biopic, experimental, animation, action, documentary, and you could describe a lot of them as sports movies. The dance movie goes through so many changes in this time. So we should start from the beginning. I hear that's a very good place to start.
Before we do though, can we just yeah, that'll do, thank you. So let's talk about when the silver screen was actually, well, silver.
When people think of famous dance films, their answers can come from any point in time, but for famous film dancers, it'll mostly come from this period. Because yes, there were movie stars famous almost exclusively for their dancing and choreography. Busby Berkeley started out as a field artillery lieutenant and used his skill for some of the most mesmerizing, synchronized choreography that is still referenced to this day. Fred Astaire was the king of dance in black and white cinema for his self-choreographed pieces, with his partners such as Ginger Rogers doing everything he did backwards and in heels. The Nicholas brothers and their famous jumping jive number inspired Michael Jackson, and Gene Kelly was one of the frontrunners in the Golden Age musical, and is it hard to see why?
Sid Charisse, Leslie Caron, these are films that were chock full of dance scenes, even if they weren't musicals, even if they didn't have anything to do with dance. But if I could name a couple that count, it would be the famous 42nd Street and The Red Shoes.
One being the story of the trials and tribulations that a production of a Broadway show can bring, and the other being a technicolor tale of an aspiring ballerina torn between her dreams and her love. The themes of following your passions and working hard to do something beautiful carry on throughout all of these films. So now that we have the roots of dance films, spectacle, romance, a kick-ass soundtrack, how are these elements used? In many ways, really. Let's start off with...
When film went to colour, dance films mostly starred young people, or adults pretending to be young people. But anyway, when more spectacle was added, a dance between two people, while still really cool, was less astounding. So dance became more of an emotive and performative way to express ideas. Love and sexuality, dreams and success, and the first one I'll be covering, youthful rebellion and daring to be different.
Whether you're the son of a miner with ballet dreams or a dancer in a town road forbidden, if you're young, repressed, and have some sick tunes on you, dance your problems away. But not the boring ass dancing your parents make you do. Oh no, you want to be wild, you want to be free. Congrats, you're now the protagonist of a teen dance flick. Since dance is a way to funnel one's energy into performance, dance becomes a signpost for breaking free. Breaking.
Okay, let's talk about breakdancing movies.
One of the newest forms of dancing in art history is probably breakdancing. It evolved as a part of the hip-hop movement that originated among African American and Latin American youths in the South Bronx of New York City during the early 1970s. It's the language of the youth, and especially, at least in American films, youth of colour in urban settings. So in film, it represents the characters who dance, young, rebellious, and talented. Films like You Got Served, How She Moved, and Stomp the Yard show the struggle of youth of colour at the time. Prejudice, economic issues, occasional gang violence depending on when and where the film is set, all that relatable stuff.
While those films are in isolation to different forms of dance, there are others that try to mix.
It's a standard structure, really. You have two forms of dance, the rigidly structured, old-world form of dance that, while beautiful, is always elitist, and then you have the new, cooler, rebellious form of dance done by teens in underground dance clubs. The newer form of dance is looked down upon by the stuffy establishment of old-fashionedness for being most unorthodox, but eventually the youths either A, rise to the challenge and show the man who's boss, or B, fuse the two forms together and prove that all dance is created equal. This formula is shown in Dirty Dancing, Take the Lead, the first two Step Up movies, Brute Men, High Strung, and others that I can't list because not many dance movies are that well known or well liked.
Personally, I tend to like the films that say, to hell with the fabled old versus new battle and venture to create something new, because ballet can be cool too, you guys. But with an art form so old, the old and new is bound to be a theme. And in all these films, there is a theme that they have in common. So let's talk a little about romance. Let's move away from dance movies to talk a bit about a musical, West Side Story.
In Romeo and Juliet, when the star-crossed lovers first meet, their words form a perfect sonnet.
And palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
In West Side Story, they create a more visual parallel for film. When Tony and Maria first meet at the party, they dance together. The choreography is perfectly synchronized, thus non-verbally establishing their deep connection with each other.
This is a prime example of a romantic plot in a dance movie.
When you have two people dancing in a film together, for the most part it's going to be a romantic scene. Why? Because dance is intimate. Really, really intimate. The dancers must be close to each other, pick each other up, and generally have full trust that their dance partner won't tombstone pile drive them into the stage. With that level of non-verbal communication, movie logic will dictate that the two fall in love by the film's end. So when you have a male dancer and a female dancer still waiting on that gay dance movie Hollywood, they're going to dance together and end up falling for each other. And mostly for some reason the male dancer is played by Baryshnikov. Both lovers don't have to be dancers, even if they're both artists, they'll serve as a muse for one another. They become partners, entwined by and with their passions that are communicated to each other and by extension the audience. How else? Dancing. The romantic dance scene is the equivalent to the steamy love scene in any other movie, but that doesn't mean that the dance scene can't be steamy.
Settle in, folks, because things are about to get erotic.
There's an innate sex appeal to dancing, especially in modern day. There are a lot of bodies and they're all built as hell. This is shown by a lot of seductive and stripteasy dance scenes in films. But with sex positivity making more of a mark on society, we have brought films like the Full Monty and the Magic Mike films. These movies are not only funny and sexy without being sexist, the strippers were characters, not funny gags or nameless sex objects. It goes to prove that dancing is still dancing, no matter what you're wearing.
And you think about that, like, these girls have to deal with men in their lives every day who, they don't listen to them, they don't ask them what they want. They don't even ask them what they want. All we gotta do is ask them what they want. And when they tell you, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's like, we're like healers or something. Yes, man.
But most of the time the romances are B stories, the emotional part of the true plot. But what's the A story, you ask? Well, it's the rise to the top, the heat of competition, the struggle, the sacrifices people make for their art! Dancing! Okay. Before I continue, I just need to say that dance is very metal and really serious business. A lot of professional dancers push their bodies to the limit, dancing until their feet literally bleed, all while looking as graceful and elegant as possible. It's a very strict and competitive business where the chance of success is very small and maintaining success is a constant struggle. This portion of my video essay will cover the dance industry at its most accurate, so things are going to get really dark from here. This is the one with Black Swan.
Because I'm gonna be a dancer, a good dancer. You know who says so? Me.
Whether it's in a famous dance studio, the audition process, or a dance academy, this is the centre of a lot of modern dance documentaries and films. Fame, Black Swan, Centre Stage, Ballet 422, First Position, A Chorus Line, and TV shows like Dance Academy are all dramatisations and documentations of the life of a dancer in the professional industry. It normally leads up to a big competition, audition, or performance that serves as a flashy climax. These are the ones with the heaviest themes, like eating disorders, pressure from family, physical trauma, mental illness, and how low people are willing to go, how much people are willing to break themselves for the arduous task of living out their dreams. Sometimes it goes well, other times it doesn't, and sometimes it's Black Swan. While it does show ballet as a lot of hard work and potential to fail, it doesn't show ballet as inherently bad. Unless you're the character being pressured by your parents to dance, it's the dancer's choice. They're working themselves day and night to be perfect at something they love. Everything else, the romantic subplots and interpersonal relationships, serve as the side plots, the big dream, which is a lot like the life of a professional dancer.
And now for something completely different. We've covered dance films of different styles, genres, and themes, all broken down neatly into 4 different categories. But is there a film told almost entirely through dance? Well, made in 2011, this is Wim Wenders' film, Pina.
A revolution in 3D cinema and choreography, Pina is a tribute, a memoir through movement for the late great choreographer Pina Bausch. Through the film, we hear Wenders' story of production, the struggles of working with early 3D cinema technology, and the tragedy that was Bausch's 2009 death. We also hear the thoughts of her students and ensemble who fought with tooth and nail to reinvigorate the project, which was cancelled after Pina's death. You see the dancing and hear from the entire ensemble, dancers from all over the world with unique experiences with their mentor. As for the dance, it's pure contemporary, displayed by very talented dancers. Now, this form of dance is really polarizing, an acquired taste if you will, but if you get over the weird, it's passionate, visceral, intense, and graceful. The dances, all created by Bausch, cover an array of emotions: joy, sadness, trust, love, struggle, all shot in glorious HD in locations all over Germany. This is less of a traditional movie than it is an exhibition of emotion and connection to one auteur. Yeah, there's a lot of monologuing from Wenders, but it's the story of an amazing piece of art. Pina is on Canopy right now for RMIT students, and I really recommend you check it out.
When people think of the words dance movie, they think of maybe 1 or 2 okay films and then a pile of crummy, schmaltzy, guilty pleasures. And yeah, while there is a lot of low quality crap,
Different places.
I think people underestimate the dance film. Dance has been around for so many years for a reason. It's powerful and emotional, romantic, funny, and thrilling. Why not put it on screen? Why not tell the stories of so many dancers around the globe who work hard day and night to hone their craft just as much, if not more than any musician or athlete? Still today, there are so many forms of dance that are unexplored on film, and so many stories that have been left untold. So I say push from your mind the thoughts of dance being too cheesy or too stupid, and live a little, dance a little. Or, as Pina Bausch said, dance, dance, or else we are lost.
Want to know more about dance films? Check out Cinefix's list of top 10 dance scenes which served as inspiration for this presentation.